New normal big life.
Magnesium, an unsung hero, fuels over 300 bodily reactions, from heart health to stress relief. Magnesium expert Natalie Jurado, founder of RootedIn, found freedom from anxiety, insomnia, and pain through topical magnesium. It transformed my life, she says, inspiring her mission to share this mineral's power. Cardiologist Dak Wolfson calls magnesium essential for heart health, helping regulate rhythms, blood sugar, and reduced inflammation. Up to 80% of people may be deficient, facing issues like depression, migraines, insomnia, or muscle cramps. For women over 40, magnesium can ease menopause symptoms, boost energy, and support bones. Choosing the correct type of magnesium matters. Real stories, Natalie's and mine, highlight its impact. Dive into magnesium science and practical tips to unlock a vibrant, healthier you. Join us to explore this game-changing mineral. Hi, friends. Welcome to the New Normal Big Life podcast. We bring you natural news and stories about nature that we hope will inspire you to get outside and adventure, along with a step-by-step plan to help you practice what you've learned and create your own new normal and live the biggest life you can dream. I'm your host, Antoinette Lee, the Wellness Warrior. So here's the power of magnesium. Magnesium is a powerhouse mineral driving over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including those that impact heart rhythm, blood pressure, artery structure, muscle function, and cellular energy. The heart health benefits of magnesium include, but are not limited to, preventing arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, such as atrial fibrillation, keeping blood vessels healthy, supporting normal blood vessel dilation and contraction, helping to reduce damage to the heart from oxidative stress, boosting the good HDL cholesterol, protecting against type 2 diabetes, anti-inflammatory action, and it also supports muscle recovery, heart health, and mental clarity, says Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of The Magnesium Miracle. She explains magnesium is vital for every system in the body, from blood sugar regulation to nerve function. Yet up to 80% of people may be deficient, leading to symptoms like anxiety, depression, insomnia, and muscle cramps. Before we cover the next topic in this episode, I want to introduce you to the adventure sports lifestyle with what I like to call a micro story about an adventure that I've had. The adventure sports lifestyle and my deep connection to nature is essential to my good health. So here's the story. My much-loved service dog is coming to the end of her life. At times, she runs at full speed like a puppy, but more and more her hind legs will give out just walking across the living room. I don't know how to prepare myself to be without my faithful friend and adventure buddy, but for now, I'm taking her on as many adventures as I can. I'm buying too many doggy ice creams and holding her while I tell her how awesome she is and how much she's loved. This weekend, I took her paddleboarding on the river. She loved looking down on aquatic life. I hope this inspires you to get outside and adventure alone or with your favorite furry friend. Now back to the show where we're discussing a personal transformation with magnesium with Natalie Jurado. Hi, Natalie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on.
I'd like to talk about magnesium because it was a topic that was near and dear to my heart because two cardiologists just recommended that I begin taking magnesium. So we'll get into that while we're here in this discussion. But what inspired you to focus on magnesium after your health struggles? And can you tell us a little bit about your health challenges?
Absolutely. So much like everything, every great discovery, right, always starts with a problem. So I was dealing with some major issues in my life. I struggled with severe insomnia, sleeping about 2 hours a night. I dealt with anxiety. I was dealing with regular panic attacks, and all of this was disrupting my life. It was a struggle to drive a car, struggle to go grocery shopping, struggle to parent my children. So I really, really was desperate for answers. So I did what any normal person would do. I went to the doctor, right? And she was gracious enough to offer me every single test under the sun. I felt like a human pincushion. She sent me to a ton of different specialists. She took so much blood, ran so many tests. But at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, she sat me down, she looked me straight in the face, and she said, Natalie, there's nothing wrong with you. She said, your blood work is fine. Your tests are perfect. You're absolutely healthy. This is just a normal part of a woman's journey as we get older. This is just what we can expect. And in that one sentence, my life crumbled because I thought, this is what I have to live like for the rest of my life. I'm not okay with that. On one hand, I was happy that my blood work was great, but on the other hand, I thought, no, I can't. This is not what my future is going to hold for me, right? So I started researching and learning. I started checking out different types of medicine. I looked into chiropractic and acupuncture and nutrition and met with dietitians, and no one was able to give me a clear answer. It wasn't until I stumbled upon magnesium. I had met somebody at a random farmer's market. We started talking, and she said, hey, have you tried magnesium on your skin? And at that point, I would have stood upside down and said the alphabet backwards if you told me it would help me sleep at night. So I tried it, and wow, what a difference. I went from sleeping 2 hours a night to sleeping 6 hours. Anxiety started to go away, and panic attacks completely gone. So I thought, what's going on? Why aren't we talking about this? Oprah should be talking about it. She should be doing a special on it. Like, everybody should be talking about magnesium. And so I've made it my mission to get magnesium into the hands of everybody who struggles to feel their best.
Wow, that's an incredible health journey. Um, can you tell us about the over 300 biochemical processes that magnesium plays a part of in our body?
Absolutely. So interestingly, the studies are showing, even new research showing it's closer to 600 to 700 different biochemical processes. So it really is so unbelievably important that we get enough magnesium. It's literally present. Magnesium is literally present in every single one of our trillions of cells. So without magnesium, we would just stop living. Like, there would be no more of us if we simply didn't have magnesium. So magnesium is involved in nerve conduction. It's involved in our muscle function, our blood sugar. It regulates our heart rhythm. Like, it does so many different things. The problem is, when you're low in magnesium, it often gets overlooked. It's called the invisible deficiency because since it's involved in so many different processes, when something isn't working, people, especially our healthcare system, they often correlate it with different diseases instead of looking at magnesium as a mineral and looking at that foundational nutrition.
Let's talk about choosing the right magnesium. Navigating magnesium supplements can be daunting. Different forms serve different unique purposes. According to Dr. Jack Wolfson, here's what you can expect from the various forms of magnesium. Magnesium malate consists of magnesium combined with elemental malic acid. This type of magnesium is well absorbed and supports energy levels. Malic acid supports energy production in cells and aids in detoxing heavy metals from the body. It's a highly bioavailable form to support blood pressure, heart rhythm, inflammation, and nerve function. Magnesium citrate is magnesium bound to citric acid. It has a high absorption level. It's good for sleep and heart muscle relaxation. It aids in supporting digestion and improving constipation. It's also highly bioavailable, support blood pressure, heart rhythm, and the heart muscle. Magnesium taurine consists of magnesium and the amino acid taurine. It's highly bioavailable to the cells, and this formula is exceptional for the heart because both magnesium and taurine can improve the heart muscles function. This one can increase ATP or energy production in the cell, which promotes heart health. This type also reduces blood pressure and increases insulin sensitivity, further protecting the heart. Magnesium bisglycinate consists of magnesium and the amino acid glycine. It has a high absorption rate. It's also good for sleep and muscle relaxation. It has a calming effect on the nervous system. This type has a non-laxative effect due to its high absorption rate. It's helpful in regulating blood pressure, heart rhythms, and the cellular activity of the heart muscle. Then there is magnesium orotate. It's a compound made of magnesium and orotic acid. This is one of the most effective forms of magnesium for heart health. This form can actually penetrate cell membranes and deliver cell magnesium to the innermost compartments of the cells. It's needed for heart health as it can deliver magnesium to these cells and help with heart tissue recovery. It's also the best way to reverse magnesium deficiencies. Together, all 5 of these forms of magnesium work to support the electrical activity of the heart and aid in normal blood pressure regulation. However, not all forms are equal. Experts warn against magnesium oxide due to poor absorption. Natalie advises break up oral doses throughout the day to break up digestive issues and apply topical magnesium 5 minutes before bed for targeted relief. Testing for deficiency is tricky. Standard blood tests only measure 0.5% of the body's magnesium stored in the blood, while most resides in bones and tissue. Natalie suggests that magnesium RBC test is the best for a more accurate picture and correlating results with symptoms like muscle cramps or fatigue. So here's how to boost your magnesium naturally. Diet is a great start. Magnesium-rich foods includes leafy greens, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and dark chocolate. However, modern farming practice depletes soil magnesium in foods. Supplements or topical products can bridge the gap, but consistency matters. Incorporate magnesium for daily results. Here's more from Natalie on when and how to use topical magnesium. And why is magnesium so important for women over 40?
Oh, that's a great one. And this is the exact experience that I went to. I was right through my midlife, beginning of perimenopause, dealing with all these symptoms like so many women are. The studies are showing anywhere from 70 to 80% of people aren't getting enough magnesium every day in their diet. So it's starting to show up across generations. But for women in particular, once we start getting into perimenopause and menopause, our magnesium demands skyrocket. So we start to feel it so much more prevalently in our life. Of the 34 symptoms that are associated with menopause, those are the same symptoms of magnesium deficiency. And I don't think that's a coincidence. We see things like bone loss. Well, magnesium plays a vital role in strengthening our bones. We see issues with sleep. Magnesium plays a huge role in sleep. We see issues with hot flashes. Magnesium helps regulate your temperature, helps regulate your hormones. So we're seeing this beautiful overlap between the two. The other thing I realized in my research is that other countries around the world don't suffer through perimenopause and menopause the way that we do here in the United States. And the countries that suffer the least tend to have the highest amount of magnesium in their diet. So, obviously this is all correlation. There's no causation here. We can't, say that this proves that, but we can see that relationship and start to work more magnesium into our lives so that we don't feel those symptoms quite as strongly.
Right, because one thing that American farmers are starting to notice is that there's less magnesium for our food to uptake as it's growing. So then we don't get that additional magnesium that our ancestors would have gotten in their diets naturally. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between ingesting magnesium, say as a supplement, and topical magnesium like in RootedIn's products?
Absolutely. So one of the things that you just said was just so important. We're not getting the same amount of magnesium in this generation that we did many, many years ago, right? Number one, it's not present in our food because it's no longer in our soil. The current farming techniques that we're using are there to yield bigger crops, to yield more hardier crops, and to put more and more crops in that soil every single season. So we're no longer rotating soil. We no longer have those beautiful minerals that we need in our fruits and vegetables, basically. So that's number one. But another thing that our ancestors did many years ago that we no longer do is swim in streams and rivers. Back in the day, we would drink mineral water from streams and rivers. We would bathe in mineral water from streams and rivers, and we would get all that magnesium not only in our skin, but also we would drink it. And nowadays our water is chlorine, it's got fluoride, it's got all these chemicals, it's recycled, and all of those minerals and nutrients are just pulled right out of the water that we bathe in and that we drink. So that's why whenever you drink, mineral water, it's that fancy stuff at the the store that's like $5 a bottle, but that water is rich in minerals because it's sourced from springs. So we're no longer getting it on our skin like we used to. And what I created was a line of magnesium creams that go on your skin and give you this beautiful dose of magnesium without any of the side effects. Magnesium pills and powders absolutely have a role in our health and in our nutritional practices. But one of the things that is so often overlooked is the role of magnesium on your skin. See, my grandmother, my ancestors used to always, anytime you had a headache, anytime you weren't feeling well, anytime you sprained your ankle, they would say, go take an Epsom salt bath. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. It's the same stuff our ancestors used for years that helped us so often. So it really is overlooked using that magnesium on your skin.
Natalie, I was already on board and am going to buy some RootedIn products, and I can't wait to ask you some questions for recommendations. But now I am 150% on board, and here's why. I'm a water person. I paddleboard, kayak, fish, and I'm always swimming in lakes and rivers. In fact, just yesterday with my dog in the river. Um, and I noticed I have arthritis. I couldn't think of the word. I noticed that since I have arthritis from my neck to my tailbone because I broke my back, when I get out of the water, and it doesn't matter the time of year, like this time of the year, the water is warm, it relieves the pain. In the cooler early spring, when the water is very cold, it relieves the pain. I'm wondering if, in addition to just the soothing nature of water, it's the magnesium that takes away my arthritis pain for 24 to 48 hours. Like today, I don't have any back pain, which is very, very rare for me.
Isn't that amazing? Like, I feel like nature always provides. It really, truly does. See, I live in the South. I live in Florida, and there's beaches. You could throw a stone and wind up at a beach, right? And the beach is made up of 35% magnesium chloride. The ocean is made up of 35% magnesium chloride. And it's so often that people go to the beach, they find their wounds heal better. They find the inflammation goes away. They're sleeping better at night. They don't get a headache. They don't get leg cramps. All of those symptoms go away because you're swimming in the ocean. And it's because of that beautiful magnesium chloride, of course, mixed with the vitamin D from the sun. We can't overlook that as well because that is also wonderful and glorious. But they're both, like, nature always provides. I truly believe that.
Well, I really believe that your company and your product is a godsend. And can you tell us about it, how to select it, for the different challenges that we may want to overcome? What's the best combination of products to use, and what time of day do you recommend it?
Absolutely. So when I was on my magnesium journey, I started using magnesium chloride sprays, right? And it's a concentrated, very a spray made out of salt, so it was very drying on the skin. And I would spray that all the time, and it would help. It made a huge difference. My life was changed, but I was miserable wearing it because it itched, it irritated, it dried out my skin. It was just very unpleasant to use, and I couldn't use it on my children because their skin was so sensitive. So I thought there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to get this on my skin without these side effects. And I started using different magnesium lotions that were out there. So I go on Etsy and find a lotion. I'd go, at the anywhere I could find magnesium lotion, I would use it. But the problem is that those lotions didn't have therapeutic amounts of magnesium. Because as a research girly myself, like I needed to get into the research. I needed to know exactly how and why and what the science said about using magnesium on your skin. And the science says that 500 milligrams of magnesium chloride used twice a day on your skin can raise your levels by close to 60% in about 12 weeks. Now, to get that same kind of growth using a pill or a powder, it would take anywhere from 9 to 24 months. So we're seeing that topical amount in correct doses can be highly beneficial and highly therapeutic. But none of the companies out there were using a therapeutic amount of magnesium. In fact, what I found out was that the FDA doesn't regulate skincare. There's zero regulations. So even what you put on the label doesn't exactly have to match what's in the bottle because there's nobody testing it. There's nobody looking out. There's nobody putting rules about these things. So what I was noticing is that with the popularity of magnesium, brands were taking a regular body moisturizer, putting 2 or 3 drops of magnesium in it, selling it to you as a magnesium cream, and then you wonder why you're not getting the benefits. So I was like, there's got to be a way. Let's fix this. It took me 2 years working with 6 different chemists from around the world to create a magnesium cream that was therapeutically based, that was based off of scientific research, that had that golden 500 milligrams per use in it. And that's when RootedIn came to life. So we launched it about 5 years ago. And it's been just overwhelmingly accepted. Everybody loves it. We've sold out 10 times. We're about to sell out on one of ours again. So it's been really well received, but more importantly, it's been changing lives. We have people who, are suffering with pain in different ways, that are taking pain medication on a daily basis, that have been able to get off their meds. We have people who have struggled with insomnia their entire life, who from day one using our creams are getting 8 hours of sleep. So we're seeing these beautiful, beautiful stories behind our product. And our goal is just to really continue that mission of helping people with magnesium.
Well, I'd love to hear more about your product lines and who each of the different products are intended for, or the kind of challenges that they're intended to solve, and how is it best to jump into the product line? Is it best to buy a bundle? I've been eyeballing the bundle, so you give me your best advice.
Absolutely. The bundle is definitely our most popular. So we created 3 formulas. We have 3 formulas for the 3 biggest issues that we deal with in the US. We have rest, relief, and tranquility. So rest is fabulous for sleep. All 3 of them have the same amount of magnesium. So no matter what formula you use, you're going to get that therapeutic 500 milligrams per teaspoon. So all 3 of them, same amount of magnesium, but the rest has chamomile and passion flower and lavender and clary sage and lang lang and all these beautiful herbs and oils that calm down the nervous system and prepare your brain and body for sleep. So you simply apply it right as you get into bed. I always like to do legs, feet, and chest, hop into bed. 5 minutes later, you are sound asleep, and then you stay that way all night long. And you don't wake up tired. You're not groggy. You don't feel like you have medicine head, like if you were to take melatonin or something like that. Ours is completely melatonin free, so you can use it on your children. You can use it while you're pregnant. You can use it anytime you want with no fear of side effects.
Concerned with if you're taking some sort of medication, should you talk to your doctor about it, or is it pretty fine? I know from my own medical history that my doctor is actually recommending magnesium for me.
I love that your doctors recommended magnesium. Whoever you went to, they are a saint, because most doctors aren't educated in magnesium. So the fact that they even recommended it, what an amazing healthcare practitioner you have. That's awesome. But yeah, our creams are, of course, we always say, check with your doctor no matter what you're doing, whatever supplement, whatever diet, any changes that you make, always check with your doctor. But generally speaking, if you can swim in the ocean, you can wear our creams. So no issues whatsoever. So yeah, our rest cream, amazing. Our relief cream was created for pain. So if you deal with aches, pains, soreness, cramping, restless legs, headaches, any kind of issues like that, I like to call it our natural Tylenol. So we keep it in our medicine cabinet along with our other herbal pain relievers. But our relief cream has that arnica, white willow bark, comfrey, ginger, all these beautiful herbs that really, really attack inflammation in our joints and in our muscles. And then our last formula is my personal favorite, and that one's Tranquility, which is created as our daytime formula. Great for energy, great for stress relief, for focus. Just one of those things that you can use throughout your day, especially if you're starting to feel anxious, if you're feeling irritable, overwhelmed, if you have racing thoughts, it can calm you down without making you sleepy. So it's a really good daytime formula. It's my personal favorite. That's the one that really, really impacted my anxiety and really helped with those panic attacks I was dealing with.
So I had been having some chronic inflammation and sort of concerned about my heart. And despite being a sponsored adventure sports athlete, I suddenly couldn't walk up 4 or 5 stairs in my own home. And I went to several cardiologists, and it took 4 years now before I finally got a result. There's nothing wrong with my heart. I can run a mile, but I was having arrhythmias, a very slight irregular heartbeat. So I wore a heart monitor, and 2 cardiologists both suggested you don't need a beta blocker. And I know most of the times when you have an arrhythmia, the first thing the doctor will say is, we need to get you on a beta blocker right away. So I don't like to take prescription medicine unless it's in a life-saving situation. So I did not want a beta blocker, but that wasn't the recommendation. Two cardiologists said um, just magnesium is the trick, and I've been on it, and the arrhythmias have stopped. So my question for you is, can I take the magnesium supplement orally and the cream at the same time, or
Yes,
within the same day?
absolutely. I often recommend doing both. I'm a big believer that we should be working from the inside out and the outside in anytime we get. The beautiful thing about using magnesium as a pill or a powder is our body does have I like to call it our built-in safety mechanism. So if you take too much of a pill or a powder, it's going to get processed through your kidneys, through your digestive tract, and the excess magnesium is going to get basically kicked out of your body pretty quickly. If you've ever taken too much magnesium all at once, then you probably know what I'm talking about because it can send you right to the restroom, but that's your body working to protect itself from overdose. It's saying, hey, too much, let's get rid of it. Our skin, on the other hand, our skin will regulate how much magnesium we take in topically. So our skin will prevent us from overdosing. It'll allow all you need in, and it won't take in any more when you don't need any more. And I always love to give that example of being at the beach. We swim all day in the ocean. Nobody in the history of time has ever said, get out of the ocean, you're getting too much magnesium, right? So we can swim, we can absorb what our body needs, and then we can continue to go on with our life without even having to overdose topically as well.
That's such great news to hear. After this brief break, we'll be back with Natalie Jurado and her final thoughts on the benefits of magnesium.
World events are constantly teaching everyone some very painful lessons. Without warning, everything we take for granted can suddenly fail. And if you're not prepared in advance, you really don't have a chance. The fact is, the modern world runs on a just-in-time supply schedule. Even the biggest grocery stores can carry only enough food for a few days' worth of normal shopping. So when disaster strikes and chaos ensues at your local stores, the odds are simply against you. If you don't have emergency food and gear stockpiled in advance, you will probably suffer. My partner, Ready Hour, is here to help you ahead of time. Ready Hour has a long history of providing calorie-rich, reliable, and delicious nourishment for life's unexpected situations, and critical emergency gear too. They're part of a family of companies that have served millions of people like you for decades. My family and I use Ready Hour products for camping, mountaineering, and disaster preparedness for 5 years now. They're not just reliable, they're also your affordable option too. Long-term survival food shouldn't break the bank. That's why they have great sales and payment options for you. It's your bridge to safety and survival when things just aren't normal anymore. So make your next decision your smartest decision. Be ready for tomorrow, today. Trust Ready Hour. Ready to shop? Use my affiliate link in the show description.
Any final thoughts for the listeners?
Absolutely. So you can find our products at berootedin.com. We're also available on Amazon as well, and on TikTok Shop. So at berootedin across all social media channels as well. So and if if anybody has questions, any of your listeners have questions, or they need some help choosing anything, we are available through social media. When you reach out, you actually get us. We are a US-owned small family company, so we do a really great job of answering your questions on social media. You get a human, not an AI bot. So really pride ourselves on our customer service. And then, final thoughts. I'm a big believer in challenging what other people say is normal. So my doctor said everything I was going through was normal. And I decided to define what normal is for me. We all get to decide that for ourselves. So I would encourage your listeners, if don't just fall back on what somebody else says is normal. You get to choose what is normal in your life.
I love that so much because we talk about that philosophy here. Decide on your new normal and live the biggest life you can dream. And on that note, everyone, you can find links to connect with Natalie and her business on social media and to get your products at RootedIn will be in the show description. Thank you so much for joining us, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me on and for doing all you do to spread wellness to everybody out there.
Thank you. The road to vitality with magnesium. Magnesium isn't a cure-all, but its impact is undeniable. From easing anxiety and irregular heartbeat to improving sleep and energy, it's a game changer for many. Natalie's story and expertise highlight its potential to transform lives. I reclaim my life and I want others to feel this freedom, she says. By understanding magnesium's role and choosing the right form, you can unlock a healthier, more vibrant you. If you're getting value from this content, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts to make it easy for others to find us. Until next time, friends, I'm your host, Antoinette Lee, here at the New Normal Big Life podcast. I hope to see you on the river, in the backcountry, or in the horse barn, living your best life. Tag us a New Normal Big Life and NBL blog on X so that we can celebrate you and your big life. And share this video with others who need it and support others in this community.
Since 2012, the Health Ranger store has been answering your calls for a trustworthy, responsive, and affordable source of health-focused products. Built from scratch with its own US-based fulfillment center and dedicated in-house customer support, they've got you covered. From nutritional supplements and superfoods to storable foods and preparedness gear, they offer competitive prices on top-quality, lab-tested items. I'm excited to partner with the Health Ranger store to bring you the purest, most reliable products out there. Ready to shop? Use my affiliate link to get started.